and welcome to the Union County Heritage Museum. We're in our second season of Beyond the Tracks, and this summer we're focusing on singer-songwriters. And so tonight we have Joe Brian Harrison, and he's going to tell you more about himself as he gets into this show. We're in a new room tonight. We're normally in the William Faulkner Library, and we decided to shake it up a little bit, so we've moved it into what I'm now calling the jungle room, because Elvis is hotter than his normal hotness right now. So we might as well, work that angle. Do you sing Elvis?
I could learn one maybe for next time.
Okay. So we'll just get started with Joe Brian Harrison.
Thank you very much. Thank y'all for having me up here. We were talking earlier, moved back to this area after working at Gibson Guitars, 2000 to 2009. I worked with a lot of talented musicians. A lot of them were just, guys looking for insurance and looking for benefits, and so they were working at Gibson, and then they get to know them a little bit and find out, man, they're playing on the Opry this weekend. They were just so nonchalant, they'd be going out on the road with all these huge superstars and just be so down to earth, and it was really inspiring and intimidating at the same time. I was a new songwriter, had just gotten to Nashville, and finding out how tough and difficult it is to try to fit in and try to figure out what all's going on. And I kind of explained it like a merry-go-round that's already spinning, and you're just trying to figure out where to get on and how to hang on and trying to figure it out and everything. And like I said, I met a lot of super pickers and singers, songwriters. Everybody was up there came from different directions for different reasons, but they were all so super talented in their craft and making guitars. We were in the bluegrass division, so we worked there at Opry Mills Mall. If you've ever been to Nashville, right across from the Grand Ole Opry and the Opry Mills, the Opryland Hotel. So we were right there on the corner there, and it was a big time for bluegrass music itself. The movie "Oh Brother, Where Art Thou" had just came out, and so we were right there in the mecca of everything when bluegrass became cool again. I didn't really grow up on bluegrass, but once I got around it and got around some of those real good pickers, I grew a real deep appreciation for the musicianship. And then, like I said, all those guys are great craftsmen, singers, songwriters. So it was just a really good way to kind of cut my teeth in on songwriting and stuff. And I really didn't catch my second wind until I got moved back down here and kind of started writing and getting more comfortable with playing in front of people and stuff. And I ended up hosting the Songwriters Night at Blue Canoe. We do that second Thursday of every month. So if you're ever around, it's a good time. We have a Nashville style songwriting session. So we'll do 3 songwriters, and they'll kind of pour out their hearts and share their music. And we have a real good time there at the Blue Canoe. So that's something to check out if you ever get a chance. And then I got back down this way and entered a few songwriting contests after I got out of Nashville. And I won a songwriting contest up in Nashville hosted by Renee Grant Williams, who was the voice coach for like Jason Aldean, Kenny Chesney, Carrie Underwood, Tim McGraw. So I got to go up there when I won, and she gave me some voice lessons and stuff like that. So that was kind of a neat experience. Once I got back here after being in Nashville for about 10 years, I kind of started wiggling my way back in there and trying to figure out, more about the songwriting. And that eventually led to my CD, which I ended up making. It's called Call Me Country. And I actually recorded that up in Stantonville, Tennessee, with Mr. Jim Gaines. You'll have to look him up. He's a huge producer. I had no idea. But it was a blessing to get to work with him. I'm going to do this first song. It's called Bluebird. It's not on my CD, but it's one I like. And if you've heard of Nashville, you've obviously heard of the Bluebird Cafe. So I'm not going to say that's what inspired it, but it's kind of went with it once I got the title. It's called Bluebird. I've been going round in circles like a bird with a broken wing. someday I'll be happy, and one day I'll be over you. Right now I just can't be, 'cause all I can be is blue. Well, I'm just a bluebird, sitting here all by myself. Ever since I lost my true love, well, I don't want nobody else. Well, I know that in time, spread my wings and fly, find somebody new. Tonight I'm just a bluebird, trying to get over you. With every song I hear them singing, it's you that I'm reminded of. Couldn't give you what you needed, all you needed was my love. It's the same old sad song, it ain't nothing new. It's just me wondering what went wrong, why I'm so blue. Well, I'm just a bluebird, sitting here all by myself. Since I lost my true love, well, I don't want nobody else. Well, I know that in time, spread my wings and fly, find somebody new. Tonight I'm just a bluebird, trying to get over you. I know that in time, spread my wings and fly, find somebody new. Tonight I'm just a bluebird, trying to get over you. I've been going round in circles like a bird with a broken wing. Thank y'all. Like I said, I've spent about 10 years up in Nashville, played some songwriter rounds up there, played the Gibson Showcase and different Puckett's Grocery. My mom was like, "Is that good to play at a grocery store?" I'm like, "It is in Nashville, you know, you just couldn't get a place to play anywhere." So enjoyed doing that, and like I said, kind of learning the craft and being around those guys that worked at Gibson Guitars and we built the banjos, the mandolins, and the dobros for all the bluegrass hits for all the players, and you got to meet a lot of the professional pickers, you know, like I said, the guys behind the scenes, the ones that aren't in the spotlight. So it was really fun, and actually learned a lot about music, because I always been around music, always loved music, but I was just kind of writing poetry until I actually picked up a guitar. I'll tell you a little bit more about that just from my wife's family. They were big influences on me as well. So I already did a slow one, so do my Mississippi Cotton Picking Blues song. I always said, well, if you're gonna be from Mississippi, I was born in Clarksdale, Mississippi, so call yourself a songwriter, you gotta write a blues song. So I wrote this blues song. about this time of year. It's actually July. Is it July yet? We're right close. We're getting close.
Almost.
And it was hot, sweltering hot, about like it is now. And it's called Mississippi Cotton Picking Blues. Well, down in Mississippi, well, you know there ain't that much to do. Down below the Mason-Dixon, we just saw them moan about the blues. Sit there and judge me till you walked a mile in my shoes. You got nothing to lose. You'll be singing the mid-July, Mississippi Delta, all the cotton picking blues. It's right here. How does that AC know just when to go out? 106 degrees in the middle of a drought. I ain't seen no rain clouds. Seen no rain clouds since I don't know when. I can't remember when. I get the feeling in mid-July, Mississippi Delta, cotton picking blues coming on again. It's right here. How does that landlord know when I'm down to my last cents? They come knocking on my door. They're all my money spent, talking about how I'm overdue on last month's rent. I don't know where it went. I get the feeling in mid-July, Mississippi Delta, got big blues coming on again. So I called up my baby just to try and get a date. She said, I don't know what to tell you, boy, but you're a little bit too late. Headed up to the cut for the whole weekend. But you've been screaming. I said, boom, I get the feeling in mid-July, Mississippi Delta, got big blues coming on again. I get the feeling in mid-July, Mississippi Delta, got big blues coming on again. Get the feeling in mid-July, Mississippi Delta, them old cotton picking blues coming on again. Little cotton picking blues for you. Appreciate that. That song kind of came to me, like I said, just naturally, really, but you know, kind of down on your luck kind of thing. But we went to record it. A bunch of friends that I used to work with at Gibson, they met me in Stantonville, right there in Amish country, right there, and outside of the park up there by Pickwick. And we just had the biggest time. It was like a little mini reunion because we had all worked together for 10 years and we hadn't seen each other for like 3 or 4. So a carload of them came down and actually laid the tracks down with me. So that was really fun, and some great pickers on it that I don't really do justice to by my guitar playing, but I wrote it, so I guess that counts for something. But we had a ball doing it. Mr. Jim Gaines is his mother-in-law's house, and he just turned this little farmhouse. You'd never do it in Amish country. Like you go to Walmart, like in Corinth, and take a right, you know. And he turned the whole thing into a studio. Like the living room's the recording room. He's got like the den is drums only. My friend Brandon Garrett, he's from New Albany, he had his drum set up in the den, and then each bedroom, like it's like a 3-bedroom, had the bass, the guitar, the singer. So the whole house was just a studio. It's like you drive by it and never know what kind of music's coming out of there. But it was a great experience. He's a rock and roll producer, and he was worked with us on some country stuff, so we broke him in country style a little bit. But it was a blessing, like I said, to work with Mr. Jim. This song, I did it a few times up in Nashville. I think it was one of the first ones. It was the first song that I actually recorded. I talked to, you guys know Paul Thorne from this area. He's from Amory, Nettleton, somewhere in there. Great Americana songwriter. And I had talked to the guy that produces for him. He's over in Sullivan, Alabama, which we're from Vernon area. So I was wanting to get this song recorded. I just kind of had written it, and I'm ready to get it, recorded so I could get it out there to people. And Billy Maddox is his name. He wrote If Heaven Ain't a Lot Like Dixie for Hank Jr. He's Paul's manager, and I believe his bass player too. So he's got the studio. Well, he was covered up with Paul. So I said, well, man, give me somebody's name that I really want to get the song recorded. And he gave me Mike McGuire's number. So I called Mike McGuire, not really knowing who Mike McGuire was. Well, he had Wishbone Studio in Muscle Shoals at the time, and he's Shenandoah's drummer. So unbeknownst to me, I'm talking to Shenandoah's drummer about getting my song recorded. I'd have been a lot more nervous had I known it was Shenandoah's drummer, because they're one of my favorite groups. But anyway, long story short, we got a song recorded in up there in Muscle Shoals, and it was my first one. So I sent it off, and that's when I sent it off to Nashville. I entered it into a contest just as soon as I got it recorded. And that Renee Grant Williams that I won the contest through, her secretary's daughter's name was Autumn. That's ironic because the name of the song is Autumn Leaves. So she loved it from the get-go. So it wasn't like it was a shoe-in, but at least the secretary loved it just because her daughter's name was Autumn. But anyway, it's kind of a play on words. It's called Autumn Leaves. It's about a girl named Autumn that leaves. Won't be long now, I know she'll be leaving. There I'll be left here all alone. I know that she probably has her reasons, but her leaving chills me to the bone. 'Cause every time autumn leaves, it gets colder, and I start thinking about the things I should have told her. Empty arms get the wishing they could hold her. But every time autumn leaves, it gets colder. If I love her, I ought to let her go. 'Cause I love her, I thought I ought to let her know that I'll be there each and every time she needs me. And I'll probably take her back each time she leaves me. But every time autumn leaves, it gets colder, and I start thinking about the things I should have told her. My empty arms get the wishing they could hold her. Every time autumn leaves, it gets colder. October, November, and December, I can feel her heart begin to change. Knew that we could make it through the winter. We could watch the flowers bloom come spring. But every time autumn leaves, it gets colder, and I start thinking about the things I should have told her. Empty arms get the wishing they could hold her. Every time autumn leaves, it gets colder. the show is? Track by track?
Beyond the Tracks.
Beyond the Track. Okay, that's track number 1 on my CD, Call Me Country. Just FYI.
How long have you been writing?
Well, like I said, brother-in-law, we had bands in high school and stuff like that. We did a bunch of cover songs, did a lot of cover band stuff, and played around Columbus a lot. And I was kind of wanting to do more original stuff then, because I was thinking, man, if you're ever going to make it as a band other than covers and playing parties and stuff, which that was fun, but I want to do more original stuff. So I had all these notebooks filled up with original material, but I didn't play guitar. So it was kind of after I moved to Nashville, I was like, well, I was probably early 20s. So, I mean, I've probably been writing 15 years, something like that now. So it kind of just came in stages. At first, it was just words, just lyrics. And I had to find an outlet. And I was like, man, y'all have to teach me guitar so I can do something besides write stinking poetry, because I was just like, I want to put it to music, So I finally got him to show me a few chords, and then after that, I'm not gonna say I just took off, but I started piecing it together. And if it's in you, guitar can be intimidating because there's so many different levels of it. And then moving to Nashville at that stage was just like, man, these guys it's like they do it like they're breathing. They're not even looking down or anything. I'm trying to learn how to chord and, gonna play these open mic nights and stuff. And it's like, but Nashville's so neat that way because there's so many songs that don't get recorded that are super, super great. And you're going, how in the world does it take that long for something that good to get recorded? So like I said, there's all the kind of different levels, and then the producers can usually see potential in a song and go, hey, that just a raw singer-songwriter with his guitar, that's what appealed to me. That's kind of what I wanted to do. And like I said, the band thing was fun, but just songwriting was more up my alley, I guess you'd say. But once I got them recorded, man, it was on then, because I was just like, everything just, the wheels started turning, you're thinking, oh, I can do this, so especially having friends that work at Gibson Guitar that are awesome players, so that was real fun. I'm looking forward to doing another CD actually, but it's called Grinning and Picking. When the good Lord made me, well, they said he broke the mold. It may be a good thing, so I've been told. I learned everything I know up and down the dusty country roads. How to love and laugh, ride and play and sing. About the time I turned 18, got tired of cotton and sold beans. Chased them neon dreams and I left home with a brand new set of strings and a tank of gasoline. I grabbed my boots, spread my wings, and I was gone. Now I'm singing in a honky-tonk bar between a fiddle and a steel guitar. Through the smoke and the haze, I can barely see the neon sign. Grinning and a picking this old guitar, living off the tips in a big old jar, singing in the lovesick blues when I walk the line. I remember that first time driving northbound 65, listening to the Ride by David Allen Coe, and all them good old country songs by Merle Haggard and George Jones. Heard the wheels on Music Road turn slow. Now I'm singing in a honky-tonk bar between a fiddle and a steel guitar. Through the smoke and the haze, I can barely see the neon sign. Grinning and I'm picking this old guitar, living off the tips in a pickle jar, singing in the lovesick blues, and I walk the line. I was feeling mighty fine by the time I crossed that Tennessee line. Heard the lights, all the sounds of Music City. I'm pretty sure Hank didn't do it this way, but I told him that I wanted to sing and play. Got up on stage, next thing you know, he was singing with me. Now I'm singing in a honky-tonk bar between a fiddle and a steel guitar. so much. That's one of my faster songs, and it kind of reminds me of going up to Nashville where everything was so fast, and then you come back here to slow Mississippi, you know, and it's like I kind of got back to my roots when I moved down here. I hit a different level of songwriting, just kind of hit my stride in it, and kind of became more focused. Like I said, with Nashville, you hear something on the radio that's liable to have been a song that sat around for 5 years. So if you're writing to what's on the radio, it's like aiming at something that's going around this way. You by the time you see it and shoot, it's already gone. I mean, so if you're chasing the radio, you're really not gonna catch the trend. You know, it's like, oh, well, those songs have already been produced, recorded. They've been on somebody's desk for 5 years. You know, and it's just like I kind of came into my own when I moved back here. Like, got back to my roots, and it just felt like. I was like, man, there's not gonna be any songwriter nights here and stuff, and we'd meet up where Paul Thorne used to go to, Vanelli's, back before the tornado hit. That was I was like, man, there's a bunch of good songwriters in this area, you know, so kind of started getting in touch with people that way, and I met a girl from, she's actually from Las Vegas, Michaela Compton. She was over the radio station, big supporter of songwriters, so she got us involved with the Z98.5, and her and I, we kind of started getting a little bit of I guess you'd say like a music venue going, and we established a songwriting just circle. You know, we started meeting people. They did the NSAI. Her and Mercedes, they both did a great job leading it. We just kind of started networking more or less with people around here, and it really kind of started connecting with a lot of folks around here, and that kind of led me to the Mississippi Songwriting Festivals down there on the coast. And what they do down there is the big dogs with all the big hits. You don't know them, you don't know their faces, but you know their songs, you know, and the later it gets in the night, the more popular the songs are. So they have this, I guess the rookies, you know, we go down there and we open up, and it's like the later the night gets, the better the songs get, because it's like the big dogs from Nashville came down, but they really let their hair down, and it's just fun to be around. They'll talk to you. They kind of let their guard down because it's like they're on vacation. They're getting treated like royalty. And you're just like, wow, this guy wrote, you know, Indian Outlaw, Tommy Barnes. I got to meet him down there. He's actually from the Tupelo area. He was born in Tupelo, raised in Winfield, Alabama, I believe. But so it was very inspiring just to see Mississippi's so full of culture and songwriting, music. I mean, you cross the state line, you see birthplace of America's music. I mean, it's really where it started, you know. So after being in Nashville, I was like, well, man, Mississippi's got just as much going on as far as the songwriting stuff goes. So I kind of got re-inspired that way. So,
is there a formula?
Formula for me? I know a lot of people do write, and it's like that fences me in. It makes it seem like it's too much of a job, kind of.
Yeah.
And it's so artsy to me that I just kind of, what I'll do, my formula, I'll say, is I'll get this hook and like for Autumn Leaves, and it stayed in my head. I was like, how can I make that clever? But I try to take everyday things sometimes that people, little things you might hear that people take for granted or say every day, and try to, you know, just kind of find a way to twist it or reword it to where, you know, and I'll just kind of let that marinate in my head and go round and round until when I feel like it. But I don't know if I could ever write songs like you need one by Monday morning or, you know, by Friday afternoon or whatever. It'd just be probably too much pressure, but it's just something I really enjoy doing. But I don't really have a formula. Sometimes there's been a few times where I've gotten music first, but usually it's lyrics for me because that's how I learn first. So I'll have them down my pad, and I kind of got an idea, but then I'll find the chords that match it best, the melody or whatever. So.
Do you find that you collaborate with people well? I mean, is that
I have.
songwriters
Yeah.
come together?
You know, it's a give and take thing. You know, it's kind of like you got to find the right person, really, to be honest with you. And I have co-written one. I'll do one that I co-wrote next. Zach Ryan from Fulton, really good guy. We got together and we ended up co-writing 3 songs on my CD. So, you know, me and him fit well together, kind of come from the same background and that kind of thing. But he's just one of those guys that's just like inspiring to be around. He's a real lyricist, so, and he loves music too. So we just kind of bounced ideas off of each other. It worked out real well. But I'm getting more into songwriting, co-writing. And so the more I do it, the more I like it. But yeah, you do kind of got some chemistry there where you got to find the right person. But this song's called Sky in Alabama. And the way that Zach and I came up with this, I think I had the idea and then he kind of helped me with it. It's like the Geico commercial where does Charlie Daniels play the mean fiddle, and it's like the obvious answer is yes, right? So it's like a guy and a girl in a relationship, and she's wanting to know how it's going or where we stand, that kind of thing. And so his long way about it of letting her know the answer is yes is, well, if the sky in Alabama is blue. So that's kind of the way we came up with it. So there's a lot of comparisons that way. So it's called Sky in Alabama. I can tell you got something weighing on your mind, and I got a feeling I know how you feel. Your heart is laying on the line, and you want to know if the love we have is real. Well, I've never been real good at first impressions, but darling, my intentions are the best. Oh, and by the way, I got a few questions. I hope your answer's yes. Is there some big old juicy peaches down in Georgia? Is there some long white sandy beaches down in Florida? Is Gatlinburg still have a view? Can you go to Memphis for blues and barbecue? Is that old Mississippi River, it still flows down to the Gulf of Mexico? Well, I reckon that this love filled for you is true. If the sky in Alabama's blue. This old country boy logic that I'm using, straight from the heart, is honest and it's real. I hope for a city girl it ain't too confusing. It's the only way I know to tell you how I feel. Let me break it down for you real plain and simple. Be with you, no one else. If you're thinking what I'm thinking, well, there's only one thing left. Ask yourself, there's some big old juicy beaches down in Georgia? Is there some long white sandy beaches down in Florida? Does Gatlinburg still have a view? Can you go to Memphis for blues and barbecue? Is that old Mississippi River, it still flows down to the Gulf of Mexico? Well, then I reckon that this love filled for you is true. If the sky in Alabama's blue, then I reckon that this love filled for you is true. If the sky in Alabama, sky in Alabama, sky in Alabama's blue. Kind of wordy, huh? There you go. Oh man, that's a fast one there. You ought to hear those pickers on there. That one's on my, that's number 2 on my track by track. Is that what we call it?
Beyond the track.
Beyond the track. So we're going beyond the track. That's number 2 on my Call Me Country CD. Let's see here. This one isn't on here, but this will be on my next project. I haven't really named it yet, but always writing for that next one. Once I got back to this area, I kind of got to thinking about, well, everybody talks about their hometown, you know. especially in country music. And they always talk about how proud they are of it, and how glad they are to be from there. And my twisted way of thinking, I got to think about, well, how does a small town feel? I know that's a weird take on it, but this is kind of the perspective of it. It's a small town. How did it feel when you left it? So it's called Sleepy Little Town. You went off to find yourself, sick of me and everyone else. One last tank of gasoline, light turned from red to green. Sticking around here was a waste of time, just getting nowhere, just spinning tires. Pedal to the metal, holding nothing back. Forgot about all the good times we had. When you had a truckload riding back roads to the bonfire at the lake, hanging out at the old slab house and dragging into the lake. I can see the pride in your eyes. Here we went to States. The tears you cried that Sunday night, the summer you got saved. The day you left me down, I had a feeling you'd be back here at Silent, sleepy little town. It sure has been a little while now since you've been back around. Thought about you just the other day, and I used to play at that small cafe. You always swore you'd stay true, but I guess you got too big for your boots. Forgot about all your down home roots, memories we made. When you had a truckload riding back roads to the bonfire at the lake, and hanging out at the old slab house and dragging into the lake. I can see the pride in your eyes. Here we went to stay. Tears you cried that Sunday night, the summer you got saved. The day you left me down, I had a feeling you'd be back here at Silent, sleepy little town. When you went away, I didn't think you'd stay that long. I had a funny feeling you'd find your way back home. When you had a truckload riding back roads, bonfire at the lake, hanging out at the old slab house and dragging into the lake. I can see the pride in your eyes. Here we went to stay. The tears you cried that Sunday night, the summer you got saved. The day you left me back, I had a feeling you'd be back here at Silent, sleepy little town. Silent, sleepy little town. So hopefully I'm planning on doing that one. Thank you on the next CD. Haven't decided what might be the name of it. Sleepy Little Town. Who knows? Did I hear a train? Oh, good. I got a train song. I was doing a train song at Corinth up there at the Pizza Grocery, and the train came by, and I thought, well, that's really cool. This is my train song. It mentions Down from the Hills, New Albany, so good little plug for y'all. Well, America's best small town, and y'all get voted that. Alright, the name of this song is Magnolia Blossom Train. Rolling, rolling, rolling right out of Memphis, all the way down to New Orleans, picking up and dropping off in Jackson, the Magnolia Blossom Train. It goes rolling on like thunder in a southern rain, the crossroads in Clarksville to the catfish in the plain. You hear that engine rumbling like a hurricane. It's a Magnolia Blossom Train. Down from the hills in New Albany to the cotton fields and across the Delta Plains, or the mighty Mississippi, Tallahatchie and Tombigbee, rolls a Magnolia Blossom Train. It goes rolling on like thunder in southern rain, the crossroads in Clarksville to the catfish in the plain. Hear that engine rumbling like a hurricane, Magnolia Blossom Train. From the blues and the barbecue on Bill Street to the Cajun Cafe with a funny name, the old cotton gin in Cleveland, hurry up, y'all, it's leaving this Magnolia Blossom Train. Goes rolling on like thunder in pouring rain, catfish in Clarksville and the crossroads in the plain. Hear that engine rumbling like a hurricane, Magnolia Blossom Train. It goes rolling on like thunder in pouring rain, crossroads in Clarksville to the catfish in the plain. Hear that engine rumbling like a hurricane, Magnolia Blossom Train. The Magnolia Blossom Train. A little bit of a train down, and it was raining. It just kind of seemed to fit.
How many songs have you written?
Wow, I've probably got hundreds, really, honestly, over 100 probably. And then I'm kind of getting them recorded as I can. But I've probably recorded. If you go to my Reverb Nation page, it's Reverb Nation, Joe Brian Harrison. I've got songs that we recorded at work up there at Gibson. My boss called me from up there. He's in like Illinois now. He said, "Man, we had some good times up there. We go break." And it just turned into this big jam session, and we just have a ball. So we've got stuff that we recorded like on a mini disc recorder like early 2000s. So I put that stuff on there. It's not like I'm trying to really promote it as an artist. It's more of a songwriter. So the quality might not be the best, but you know, I think once I've been going back revisiting some of them songs and trying to arrange them where we can get in the studio with them and actually do them justice. But I've probably got 20 or 30 on there. And different outlets on the social media.
Are most of the employees at Gibson Guitar musicians?
You know, a high percentage of them were, and then there's some that there was a handful that wasn't. But you know, a lot of them, like I said, they were so talented. Some of them would get jaded about it because they were just as good or better than some of the professionals they were making guitars for. You know, and they knew it, and they really were. Like they weren't just thinking it. But I was like, you know, we'd see them at break and be like, you know, they wouldn't brag about it. They were just down to earth about it. But then some of them would be actually kind of a little jealous, you know, because they hadn't caught their break yet. But then eventually, most of them did. So I mean, there was a lot of talent there under that one roof for sure.
What was your job there? What did you do?
I started out. Everybody starts out in hand sanding unless you really know somebody. So I started out hand sanding, and then I was in the finishing department. So I sprayed the lacquer on all of them, and then we did the buffing and stuff like that. And there was a guy that got fired for looking at. They were doing interviews or yearly reviews, and he looked at the boss's folder and told everybody else that one of my best friends had got like a 10% raise, and he only got like everybody else like a 2 or 3. And he said, "You need to tell him to either quit saying that or give me the 10% raise." You know. So anyway, that guy ended up getting fired. So he was in the wood shop. So that kind of opened the door for me to go back into the wood shop. And that was just naturally where I wanted to be if I was going to be building guitars. Finishing was fine. It was fine, but I really wanted to be in the building them because, like I said, the Dobro's the closest thing to a guitar. You know, and it's blues and country and everything. So I got in the wood shop and then kind of took it from there, and then I ended up being the supervisor over it. And we moved downtown, so we had a ball. We were downtown Nashville, and everybody else was stuck at the mall. So we'd still go to the mall, get parts and stuff like that, but then go to meetings and stuff. But we were kind of on our own, so we had a good time downtown. And it was kind of the slums then, but now it's like the Gulch in Nashville. It's like real nice and stuff, but it was like the wrong side of the tracks back then. But we had a
Still
good time.
making guitars there?
You know what? After the flood in '09, you know, when Nashville got flooded, the water at Opry Mills was 2 feet over the door, so 10 feet high. So there was a guy from that worked next door to us at the mall, the Reebok outlet. So he came over on his jet ski. He lived a few miles from there. He came over on his jet ski and saw that it was 2 feet above the door. Now you think about the mall, just any mall, jewelry, whatever you can picture, clothes. But this mall had like stingrays in it, and Bass Pro Shop had fish in it, you know. So you probably had fish swimming all through the mall. And then I think about the guitar store. We had guitars stacked up to the, you know, everywhere on the wall. So there's no telling how much money just was ruined there. So, but after '09, that's when they downsized, and the economy was kind of bad. Everybody could start living without $3,000 guitars all of a sudden. So they kind of broke it into, like I said, they downsized. I got laid off, came back downriver, and they're still building the Manlins, and they're building in the custom shop, which is in Nashville still. So, and Gibson's got a new owner now too that used to run Levi's. So they're kind of coming back around. You know, they didn't go anywhere, but they're boosting back up for sure. So there might be some doors open in the future. Who knows? But it was fun while it lasted. That's what we always say. We look back and say these were the good old days. I'm gonna write that song one day. On my CD, it's the last song on the CD. It's called Goodbye Song. Tore out of the driveway, swinging gravel, slammed the screen door on the way out. Watches all my hopes and dreams came unraveled. She was the one I thought I could not live without. Squalled tires as she pulled out onto the blacktop. This time I wasn't standing in the way. Anyway, I pulled out my old flat top. This time I got nothing left to say. Well, I don't know how long she'll be gone. It just seemed like a good time to write a goodbye song. This time she didn't turn back toward Moss. Instead she headed right off into town. I don't even know or care what her problem is. It don't look like this time she's turning right. the time to write a goodbye song. After all these years, you would think that I would at least have one good cry. But I ain't even so much as shed a tear. I guess I'm saying what's so good about goodbye. Now she's probably out there on the interstates, somewhere out past the county line. The longer I sit around here and wait, the further she gets from my mind. Well, I don't know how long she'll be gone. Good time to write a goodbye song. Yeah, I realized it was a perfect time to write a goodbye song. 'Cause you left. Well, pretty good on time?
Yeah.
All right, cool. We'll keep rolling. Alright, just a little happier song. Zach Ryan and I co-wrote this one. He's from Fulton. Mentioned him before. Well, I don't really know how we came up with this idea, but it's called Like George Jones. We were talking about George Jones earlier. Elvis and George Jones are both making a comeback. They're in the news. Everything's going back to the good old days, maybe. I don't know. But this song got nominated for it's at the Grand Ole Opry, the JMA Awards. It's a independent music award, and it got nominated for Song of the Year, which is big for a songwriter. You know, like I said, at times I had wanted to be an artist. If there was a bus parked outside right now, I would get on it, but it hadn't happened yet. So you got to rearrange your goals, and really that's really all I want to do is have somebody cut my song. But anyway, as an independent artist, once I cut my CD, you still want to get any recognition is good. So this got nominated. And it happens to be at the Grand Ole Opry, so that makes it even better. So you think about, I always think about going back and working out there. We go out back and take breaks, and Grand Ole Opry's right there. You know, that's everybody's goal in country music anyway. And so it's kind of neat to see that kind of come full circle. Like I said, a lot of things I did just learn the hard way on, but it was kind of neat to see that kind of happen, because when I first found out it got nominated, I didn't know where it was going to be. I started looking at the show and everything, and they've got some pretty big signed artists as well. There's going to be Craig Campbell's going to be there, a few headliners that'll be there that night, so it'll be a fun night. Looking forward to it, and it's coming up in October. So, but this one's called Like George Jones, and I forget to add Zach to it. He's a co-writer on it, so I want to give him credit. We go together like George Jones in a country song. Sawdust floor and a honky tonk. Memphis, Elvis, rock and roll, rhythm and blues. Like red, white, and blue in the 4th of July. Homemade ice cream and apple pie. There's only one thing to me, baby, it's you. It's the shore as the sun comes up each morning. River flows right down to the sea. When I met you, I knew the search was over, and that meant to be. They go together like George Jones and a country song, sawdust floor and a honky tonk, Memphis, Elvis, rock and roll, rhythm and blues, red, white and blue in the 4th of July, homemade ice cream and apple pie. Only one thing for me, baby, it's you. In this world, some things just go together, like a country boy in a jacked up Chevrolet. There ain't one thing that can make it any better, waking up next to you every day. They go together like George Jones and a country song, sawdust floor and a honky tonk, Memphis, Elvis, rock and roll, rhythm and blues, red, white and blue in the 4th of July, homemade ice cream and apple pie. There's only one thing for me, baby, it's you. They go together like George Jones and a country song, sawdust floor and a honky tonk, Memphis, Elvis, rock and roll, rhythm and blues, red, white and blue in the 4th of July, homemade ice cream and apple pie. There's only one thing for me, baby, it's you. There's only one thing for me, baby, it's you. We recorded that up in Nashville. It's right outside Nashville in Franklin. I don't know if you're familiar with that area, but there's a school up there where they teach recording, and they needed a band. So we signed up for it, and all my friends from Gibson were already up there. So we signed up for it and acted like we were a band. So we just went in there and recorded and got it for absolutely free. So it's kind of neat to have that recorded for free and then it get nominated for Song of the Year, you know, in an independent for award. You know, that's kind of ironic, I guess you'd say. Let's see. I know John Spears, he writes some real stuff, you know, and it's always just, man, I get around him, I'm like, man, I just usually make stuff up, you know, and go with what I come up with or whatever. Had a friend that tragically, he was struck by lightning on his horse. It was a horse he was training. He was a horse trainer. He won all kind of belt buckles and rodeos and all kinds of stuff like that, but he never bragged about it like ever. He was in the worship group at our church there at Trinity in Fulton. And his wife asked me to sing at his funeral, and nobody's aspiration to be a funeral singer, but couldn't say no. So while all that was going on, it was just like, you know, as a songwriter, I was just taking it in, you know. I was like, man, this is just too much. But there was just cowboys out in the crowd everywhere. The whole town came. I mean, people came from all around. But I just sat there and looked at all the belt buckles he had won and just thought about what a humble person he was. So. I'm going for the gold, I'm chasing down his dreams, not bragging, just letting his buckles do the talking. The pearly gate got pulled, he won his wings. Now down the streets of gold he's walking. Ride high, cowboy, ride high. Off into the big blue sky. Say goodbye, my friend, it's just so long till I see you again. Until then, ride high, cowboy, ride high. guitar strings and a few hearts along the way. But you kept your eyes upon the prize. Thought of me fight and kept the faith. So ride high, cowboy, ride high, off into the big blue sky. This ain't goodbye, my friend, it's just so long till I see you again. But until then, ride high, cowboy, ride high. Riding broncs and bulls and roping, you did everything wide open. A trailblazer leaving nothing to second guess. A simple man with a humble grin, shake your hand and be your friend. God chose you 'cause he only takes the best. So ride high, cowboy, ride high, off into the big blue sky. This ain't goodbye, my friend, it's just so long till I see you again. But until then, ride high, cowboy, ride high. Yeah, until then, ride high, cowboy, ride high. Pretty sure that one's on YouTube too. Thank y'all. That's a special song. His wife, his widow, actually sang harmony with me on that, so it was really pretty cool thing. Tony Hooper, School of Music, Tony Hooper from the Tupelo, Amory area. He recorded that with me, so that was a fun, interesting project. So I'm gonna try to put that on my next CD. But he did a great job recording it for me. Like I said, it's kind of I didn't know how to approach it really after I written it. Sunday school teacher, we were all in the same Sunday school class or whatever, and we had talked about, where do you find your peace? Mine was guitar, his was on horses, and that just stuck with me. Just everybody went around the room and talked about where they find their peace and stuff. Ever feel close to God? And I just remembered that afterwards, and I was thinking, man, that's just can't not write it. And then I didn't know how to approach her about it, because it's just touchy subject. But she loved it, so she sang on it with me. So that's all I know. I'll do my title track to my CD, I guess. It's called "Call Me Country." Rolling out of bed before the rooster crows, running wide open on a red dirt road is country. Call me country. If riding around all day on a big old tractor, pick up in my pickup, spin my back, it's country. Call me country. Cotton fields, country roads, county lines. Mississippi mud, Alabama clay, and Georgia pines. Family, friends, and fish fries fill my mind. If that's country, call me country. Get in the door for my baby, saying yes ma'am to the ladies' country. Call me country. Saying I love you on the heart, blanket down, staring up at the stars of country. Call me country. It's the simple things, like a homegrown peach and some hand cranes, homemade ice cream, holding hands and hugging, honey on the front porch swing, if that's country. Call me country. Ain't nothing new, it's just the way that I was raised. Just a good old boy from back in the day, planting, cutting, belling, and selling hay. I work hard, play harder when I get my pay. Way back off the main highway, riding high on them old back roads. Where the creek turns back, the sun sinks low. Got a bonfire burning back behind the barn. Tailgate down underneath the stars, rolling with my sweet baby in my arms. If that's country, call me country. If that's country, then call me country. Call me country. We got time for one more?
I think one more.
Okay, good. We'll do the one that I didn't ever expect would be on the CD. I had planned for another one, is one I co-wrote with a friend of mine that's an artist as well. He's from the Gulf Coast down there, named Chad Austin Parker. Isn't that cool? I go down to the Songwriting Festival in Mississippi. So, it's not Biloxi, it's Ocean Springs, Mississippi. And there's a guy on my right side named Cole Jones, and the other guy on my left is named Chad Austin Parker. I'm thinking, I need a cooler name. It's like, man, these guys sound like country stars. But Chad's a good friend, and we've got boys the same age and everything. So we weren't quite finished with I thought we were finished with the song. That's the part about co-writing. You got a little give and take there. And he's like, well, you gonna put it on that CD? I said, well, I was going to. He's like, well, I don't know if it's done. So we kind of scavenged around and ended up putting this one on there. And it really kind of worked out better. The musicians really did a great job on it. And it's one of those learning things where me being a lyricist, I found out if you let people play on it, let the players play and let the music come to the lyrics, it kind of make a little magic there. It's called, I can't never remember the name of the song. It's called Easy to Remember. I should be able to remember that. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I'm sorry, John. I should have never laughed. Here it is. Easy to remember. It must not be easy to remember. I named it wrong, apparently. Okay, now I can see it and everything. It's got some really pretty dobro on there. We had a lot of fun recording it. It's called Easy to Remember. Apparently, it's easy to forget. When you close your eyes, do you think of me? Across your mind when you're trying to fall asleep? Down in your heart, in that secret place, do you long for the warmth of my embrace? Well, I've been trying over you. I just ain't decided yet. You're easy to remember. just hard to forget. It wouldn't hurt so bad, I wouldn't feel so sad if I didn't think what we had would last forever. Maybe it's just me, you'll find it hard to believe that you and I won't be together. Well, I've been trying to get over you. This ain't decided yet. They're easy to remember, they're just hard to forget. I've been trying to get over you. I just ain't decided yet. They're easy to remember, they're just hard to forget. I remember it. Thank y'all so much.